Send a powerful message to those people who live in the past and tell them no more business as usual and no more repeat performances because we're going to make America great again.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. With me as always is my regular co-host, a good buddy, a compatriot, and yeah, you will be blessed to meet and know him, Mr. John Tracy. John, how you doing, man?
I'm not a crook.
That you are not, exactly. I'm, of course, Matt Craig. Happy to be here, of course. Just minding my own business. Nah, just joking. But I am along for the ride, ready to have fun. And we are, of course, really happy that you are with us. Johnny, we've hit episode 46 of Two Noobs Talking. Can you believe we're getting closer and closer to 50, man.
50's coming up.
It's coming up real soon.
It's also coming up for our ages, so it is what it is.
Really? I'm not even going to go there. But anyway, how about some numbers? Who do you think wore that number in Philadelphia?
My favorite, Herm Edwards. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You play to win the game. The greatest.
That's all. It's all I stand for in my life. You play to win the game.
You play to win the game. Absolutely. Yeah. I think for me, it's probably Dallas Green. I think you mentioned in one of our pre-production meetings, you had said, I think, what was it? He's like one of our favorite Phillies managers up until Charlie came along.
He was the greatest Phillies manager until Charlie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my only thing I have to say. But Dallas Green was a tremendous human being.
Yeah, exactly.
Great manager, great president too. He was a part of the building of that team.
Oh yeah,
Charlie took over.
Yeah, he had just such a great baseball mind. Then there was, of course, like talking about a great pitcher that wore 46 on an '08 championship team for the Phillies, Ryan Madsen.
My man.
Fastball changeup, and you couldn't hit either one of those two pitches. I mean, it was amazing. But then, of course, there have been also some really bad players that wore 46. Izell Jenkins comes to mind too, right?
He's the only bad one, though. That's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, John Dornbos too, I think.
Yeah. Great long snapper. One of my favorite, the magician.
Yeah.
He's a reality star and a great football player and a great
human being. Yeah, a great human being. Absolutely. Yeah, so this episode, this is going to have an interesting take. It's going to have a theme that's going to be running throughout the entire episode. There's a lot of darkness that's out there right now, but we are going to hit you with a lot of light during all of this.
We're going to try to.
We're going to do our very best, as we always do. But we're going to hit on everything, right? We've got a story on the Riddler, Dr. Anthony Fauci, of course, being accused of funding infections that kill dogs. But at the same time, we also have a story in Italy about dogs becoming lifeguards. We'll get into that. We have Arnold writing a complete ridiculous opinion piece in the Atlantic. But we've got Dana White on the opposite side. We'll explain. And then, of course, we'll talk a little bit more about what Florida is going through with the CDC and the COVID case counts and the whole dispute there. But, John, as we always do, topic number one.
Go for it.
Leading off the episode with another one of our famous, fabulous Fab Five updates. And, Johnny, the Joker, the cockwobble, the moron, the sexual assaulter, his impeachment probe, my friend, has been suspended up there in New York, despite the fact, despite credible evidence of wrongdoing.
And this is what 45. This is it premiered today. Literally is what we said. We said this. This article comes out like 2 days later.
Yeah.
He resigned because there's criminal evidence against him. There's a couple links in that New York Post article.
Huge.
It links a couple things together where you could actually, I think you can view the impeachment inquiry.
Yeah.
Which has the what they found. It's very credible. It's very credible stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. Everybody, we know the theme here is do your own research if you don't believe what we're saying. But he ran away.
He did.
It wasn't about the sexual assaults. He ran away because they had heavy evidence on him.
Oh, 100%. It's really interesting, too, that this moron basically saying Cuomo claimed that he would have escaped impeachment, Johnny, and that the legislature, New York State legislature, would have ended up looking, quote, like a ship of fools, end quote. I'm thinking, really? The only ship of fools I'm seeing leaving is you and your brother, hopefully from CNN, if he gets any wisdom in his brain, right? At the end of the day.
And be honest with you, anybody in the New York politics at this moment is a ship of fools. Oh, so I you know what? He might be right. He's half right, but he's a part of it. So
he's a part of it. Yeah, yeah. The captain of the ship is basically bailed to jump over the top of the ship. Yeah. You know, he's off. He's man overboard basically at this point. But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, with this guy.
But we need to report on it because we like to cash receipts here, and we said literally that last
no doubt. No doubt.
He's not resigning because he actually cares about people.
No.
He's resigning because his ass is on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, that's a typical Cuomo.
It's funny too. I wonder if it would be like, let's do a little quick tangent before we move on to this, Johnny. Do you think we would have a little bit more respect for him if he stuck it out, like if he continued to stick it out rather than being the chicken shit and moving away?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Love it. Yeah, love it. No. Pretty much no.
No, I wish he would have.
Yeah.
Would have got to the tar and feathering or what? What did Trump put in an act in 17? How he reenacted a law from like the 1800s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where you can, what do they call it? Where you line everybody up and you got rifles and you shoot them.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, firing squad. Yeah.
Like I would rather just see Cuomo walk to the end, be convicted of everything, and then shot in a firing squad. That's what I want. But I'm flair for the dramatics.
So. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be tremendous. I think if it were me, I'd throw them in the stocks. I'm always a big fan of stocks. The public stocking, you basically right outside City Hall, put them in there, arrest, with an ankle bracelet in there, and you're just hanging over just like that. That would be my favorite.
I'm not for people that have free speech because that's what the Biden administration wants. I'm for the actual criminals.
For the actual criminals, exactly. But then, of course, along with the Fab Five, we also have Governor Murphy. John, he's subbing back in. Yeah. He's been kind of quiet recently.
He's a good sixth man.
He is a great sixth man.
He's like Lou Williams of the governors. And I don't mean that as Lou's bad.
He doesn't score. That's the only.
I don't believe. I'm not saying I love Lou Williams to death.
Exactly.
I'm not saying, but he's like the best sixth man ever.
He is the best sixth man ever. Exactly.
For corruption.
Reported in NorthJersey.com, Governor Murphy headed to his estate in Rome, Italy, John. Wow. For vacation as the COVID cases rise in New Jersey.
Yeah, he's got to go because the COVID cases are going up.
You know what the most important thing is? The most important thing is, though, he's never more than a call or text away from his New York State or from his New Jersey legislature and his lieutenant governor. And, he's another scumbag. He must be enjoying, sarcasm alert, he must be enjoying the rolling hills of, Italia. He's sipping on his Chardonnay.
He's earned it, Pat.
He has.
He's taken his time over the year and a half to direct his loyal subjects to not work and to be afraid. So, Biden gives away gifts, man. He says, hey, go to Rome for a week.
Go to Rome for 10 days. You don't Slow the spread in Rome for 10 days.
For a living? You don't need that. Why do you need that? No, he doesn't. He's our loyal king of Jersey.
Absolutely.
He can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants, but whether or not you decide to travel, well, that's another story for another time, shall we say?
Well, maybe not. Maybe it's a story for now, but let's
move
on.
Exactly.
Let's move on to the third idiot of the third and fourth.
Yeah, this is really something else because this is the first time that the used car salesman has thrown his hat into the ring. And I think it's going to be a very interesting political calculation. He is basically urging California voters to vote no in Two-Face's recall vote. And Two-Face is, of course, my nickname for Gavin Newsom because he is definitely a Two-Face.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know, look that up in terms of restaurant.
He fits the character
dining.
perfectly. He fits the character perfectly.
But he fits the character perfectly. And
I mean, he's not as good an actor as Two-Face from the Dark Knight, but
yeah.
I forget that guy's name, but he was so good.
Oh, I don't. Aaron Eckhart.
Mm. Oh, he's also just a weird John moment in the head. If you haven't seen Thank You for Smoking, Aaron Eckhart, one of the best mockumentaries you'll ever see.
Nice. I'm gonna have to make a note of that. I'll make a note of that right now on the whiteboard.
Where the autistic kid happens. Oh shit, that's awesome.
Exactly. But I mean, this is very interesting, Johnny, because it's going to be interesting with California. I think it's scheduled in like next month, I believe, that California voters have one of two questions to answer. One, do they want to recall the governor? Yes or no. And then the second is, who do they want to nominate to go against Newsom? And I don't know if that happens in November or if it happens the following year. But the first question is critical for that entire state. Do they want to go and vote yes or no on recalling Newsom? That sets the whole thing in motion, basically. But outside of that, you've got, I mean, let's face it, Larry Elder right now is very, very popular in that state in California. And he's doing a very good job thinking about, like, okay, well, I'm going to take advantage of this.
As well he should.
What are your thoughts on that with Elder?
Very smart man. My whole thoughts on the whole thing is, first of all, Biden doing an endorsement at about a month before the recall. That's going to drop politically, that's going to drop percentage points. Newsom has now a very less likely opportunity to survive this recall, especially, Biden's got a lot of heat on him.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling troops out, going away for the weekend. They hit him with that. They hit him with a lawsuit about the migrant workers.
Coronavirus, handling is going down in the polls with him.
His popularity is going down.
Yeah.
The courts just said that they need to put Trump's thing back in with the Mexico policy, where to come across the border when you get caught, you get actually sent back to Mexico and have to wait for clearance.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even have. He's taken lumps a lot recently.
That's really something, considering that it's in August and it's 7 months in, and he pretty much has reversed everything that has that was set in place, and has basically shot it down the shithole essentially.
But now I think the courts are getting back involved and doing, because a bunch of lawsuits came out early on. So his executive orders, his 78 executive orders, the most executive orders ever signed by a United States president.
Oh.
I don't know if it's 78 exactly. That's just a number that sticks in my head. It could be 94. It also could be 62.
Yeah.
So
but it's a fair number. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was definitely higher than 62. Let's put it that way.
Which is really scary if you stop to think about that. That's a little bit too many executive orders.
Yeah, you don't make that many decisions when it's.
Oh, where is Congress? It's like, hello.
Even though they suck, we still need to go through them.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, him backing him, I see damage. Newsom better get some damage control. He might want to get away from Biden, because this is very funny, because Trump being a very slimy politician himself, right? Why hasn't he backed Elder?
It's very interesting. Yeah.
Because he understands the Trump effect, unlike Biden understands the Biden effect.
This is the first time you're going to have the Biden effect into place.
So what does the Trump campaign do?
If you're Trump, do you stay silent for God's sakes, or do you?
Oh, so maybe he learned something from 4 years.
Don't know,
because he didn't know how to shut up during those 4 years. But shutting up right now to get rid of Gavin Newsom is probably the smartest thing he can do.
Very interesting too. In this New York Post story that we found, Johnny, a poll in July found that 48% of California voters support Newsom remaining in office. That was supporting Newsom, 48%, so 52% not against.
That's San Diego and San Francisco.
I would think so. Probably LA County in there somewhere as well.
Yeah, easy.
43% of those polled now said they would vote to recall.
That's awesome. So we're running on about 65 to 75% are going to
Now
recall.
you got Biden throwing his hat in the ring. It's kind of like
You might push that to 90. Like,
it's going to. I think it's going to continue
Where do
to
you think-
drop.
where do you think the recall is going to go? Let's just make a two noobs wager right now. Let's get a number, not over under. We'll just say within 5. We both can be wrong.
I'm going to say on the first question, I'm going to say 65% vote yes.
It's a great number.
I think that's 2 out of every 3 Californians will vote. They have been through so much BS in the last year and a half with this entire state. With the think about it, the tiered system that they put in place, which was a joke.
Oh yeah.
The masking where you take it on, when you put it on, take it off,
Just
eat, then throw the mask back on while you're eating.
Yeah.
That made no sense, no scientific evidence in that regard at all.
Absolutely.
So I think that is a definite slam dunk. I would be very shocked to see a 53, 55%. I'd still be happy with that, but it's like,
I'd be
I
blown
think
away.
this is a major, major opportunity for California to say, you know what, we've had it with you. We've had it. Like, this is similar to what happened here in Pennsylvania, where, you know, Wolf faced a similar situation, not necessarily the recall, but essentially the Republicans kind of said, hey, look, we're going to throw this out here. 21 days is much better than 90. What do you all think?
And
53% said yes. That was a significant milestone.
it's a huge victory.
Huge victory.
for
And it was
people.
the first state in the union, in the entire country, Johnny, to basically say to the governor, we don't like that 90 days that you exercised during this. We know this virus is terrible, but we know also that it's not as bad as you think it is.
Yes. And personal responsibility is important.
Big
I'm
time.
going to go 75% on Newsom being recalled just because I think California is going to have an uprising, because I think the people that would vote for him left in disgust. So there's less people there that actually support him. I think, to be honest, if the coronavirus didn't happen, because this recall actually happened before coronavirus.
Yeah.
So it's not all about coronavirus. But what I'm saying is, I think it would have been 50, 51, 49, to be honest, because I think the state was very split.
I think so too.
But half the people that supported him left.
Yeah.
So he's easily looking at, maybe he has 25% support right now. That's what I'm thinking. And maybe he has 35, but you throw Biden on top of that. Oh, that's my buddy. Oh, really?
Really?
Flip a couple heads. I don't really
It will
know
be
anybody.
very, very interesting. We're going to have to keep our eye on this one, Johnny, you know, obviously for future episodes. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. This is the first time that Joe's throwing his, you know, the used car salesman has thrown his hat in the ring. And you know what happens when a used car salesman tries to sell you a used car? It doesn't always work out that way.
I
So
feel bad for Gavin Newsom.
Exactly. Well, topic 2, Johnny. I don't know if you realize this, but Florida has been in the news recently.
Oh yeah.
Specifically with their COVID cases. Of course, they're starting to see a little bit of a tick, and oh my gosh, with the Delta variant and everything.
We're getting the same thing in Travis County.
Same thing up here in Chester County in Pennsylvania. We're starting to see a little bit of an increase. I'm keep thinking like, okay, where? I don't see it, but
well, it's cases. It's not infections. Cases are tests. Blah 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 blah.
There we go.
There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of language. We talked about this in the pre-show all the time. There's a lot of language that you got to read through. They don't make it easy.
They do not. No,
they do not make it easy. Like I get anxiety sometimes when I look at these idiot counter things that we used to look at, and then we started to realize they were full of shit.
Yeah.
But when you're starting to look at that stuff, like the words are huge, and this is what's happening is Florida's dealing with this, but what Florida's dealing with is the CDC is fudging their numbers.
Oh, terribly. And it was interesting, here is this Newsweek article here. A fact check, did CDC correct Florida COVID numbers after record high posted? Mm-hmm. And, on Sunday, August 8th, Florida basically was contesting the number of COVID cases. CDC had it at 28,317, which was a huge uptick. basically, the health secretary, Dr. Shamarial Robinson, said that it's very important to have that the data is accurate. The people of Florida, they deserve it. The CDC told the media on Tuesday it was working with Florida officials to correct the inaccuracies. Health Department had COVID at 15,319.
Okay.
Interesting. That's
That's
compared to
low.
24,000. That's a pretty significant change.
Yeah, from 24 to 15. That's a huge number. Makes me a little bit afraid about all the numbers we've seen prior to this. If they're finding this isn't the first inaccuracy, and like we've said this a million times, like it's not like there's no such thing as a coincidence. Like it's not like, oh, we miscounted these numbers this one time.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way with government entities. It just doesn't work that way.
Very important that this is brought up because, I mentioned at the top of this segment, 28,317 was what CDC had listed. Jason Salemi, who's an epidemiologist at the University of South Florida, said that instead of spreading the 56,386 cases from Friday to Sunday over 3 days, the federal agency spread them over 2.
Yeah, that'll mess numbers up.
You
Hey
think?
Matt, if you in your job, if you build said company that you're billing, right?
Yeah.
Build them for an entire year.
Yep.
But you meant to build them for an entire month. How big of a discrepancy would that be?
Pretty significant discrepancy. Of course, I've also seen discrepancies, John, where some people have triplicate billed people.
We just actually did it. We dealt with that with Verizon. Actually, just recently.
Triplicate billed.
Yep.
So once, twice, and then 3 times over. So it's like, are you kidding me? Read the contract. Read what's in front of you. Then bill. It's crazy.
My wife had to go the Incredible Hulk on them.
Oh my goodness gracious. But yeah, the number of cases, particularly in Florida, that the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
It's so cute that they
It's like, if you're going to keep accurate counts, work with the departments of states and their health department to make sure you have accurate numbers.
Yeah.
This is not political. This should not be political.
But it's the same thing that was going on with Cuomo fixing the numbers. And it's on the flip side because the states can be wrong too.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying Florida's right, but
yeah,
the CDC said Florida was right.
Yeah.
I looked at it both ways. I was like, are they fixing their numbers to make DeSantis look good? Like Cuomo did.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That was my first question. When you sent the article, I was like, oh, are they just playing like right left with me? But then the CDC comes out, like you just said. The CDC comes out and goes, whoops, we messed up.
Yeah, we messed up. Good accountability.
No, I appreciate the accountability.
Yeah.
But
get it right the first time, please. For God's sakes.
With all the misinformation that goes around, I can see why people are confused and don't want to deal with it.
I love in this article here, Newsweek has contacted the CDC for comment. The ruling. True. Fact check by Newsweek. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention did amend the number of COVID infections in Florida for August.
So they were wrong.
Wrong. So thank God. But yeah, it's very important to get the numbers right. My problem,
though, is the week's worth of CNN and Fox News fear-mongering that went on.
Oh, yeah. See, the ramifications of all of this, it's kind of what we've been kind of talking about, right? Johnny and me at the beginning of all of this.
Well, it's not. Well, we've said this. This is our tag. I think this is our tag phrase for Two Noobs. It's not about the coronavirus.
Yeah. It's
always about what happens because of the coronavirus.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't wish ill will on anybody. We're not running around saying it's not a virus. We're not running around saying there isn't 175 variants, even though it's weird.
Yeah.
We're not saying that you should be vaccinated or you should be not
vaccinated.
We're literally not saying anything that is what the media is saying. We're saying that we're trying to dig behind it because there's something going on behind this that they're distracting you from.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to figure out. Why is there all of a sudden DeSantis health department is like he's calling bullshit on numbers. But we learned 6 months ago Cuomo was creating bullshit numbers. Like this brings us kind of to the Arnold segment.
Yeah.
What are they what is the?
What is the end game of all
exactly?
of this?
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you just simplifying that.
Yeah, what is the end game on all of this? But yeah, to your point, Johnny. Topic 3. This got me a little upset, obviously, this afternoon when we were talking about this, because obviously I care about you, and you care about me and whatnot.
Yeah,
You've
absolutely.
been friends
We don't
for
want
years.
anybody. We don't anybody. Whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, you have a choice living in this country.
Exactly.
And this
schmuck,
like that's the only thing I can call him, running around using his celebrity to divide people, and that's what he's doing.
And that's what he's doing. For the audio listeners here, there's an opinion piece written by the great Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator.
By the way, love Twins, love Kindergarten Cop, love Terminator.
Yeah.
Don't like
and Terminator 2, by the way. Yeah.
Don't like this dude, though.
All the other things are pieces of trash that he made, but the title,
I don't know, Total Recall might be up there. I'm giving him more credit than he needs.
Exactly. The title of this is just amazing. Don't be a schmuck. Put on a mask. I mean,
okay.
If I'm reading this right in the trash, right? I mean, this is terrible. He goes on basically. The opening sentence really gets me going here. Some people are complaining, well, my freedom is kind of being disturbed right here.
No, it is.
And there's no question it is. We talked about that last week with Joe Rogan's podcast, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just literally, it's your decision as a human.
Yeah. Whether
you're going to take it or not. This isn't a right or left thing. This isn't for people that have been vaccinated or unvaccinated. This is your call now.
Yeah.
But he's pushing the agenda.
No question.
And that's my problem with the whole thing.
This quota that needs to be filled, I'm convinced there's
I don't have stock in Pfizer. I don't need to fill a quota.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have stock
in
Pfizer. You don't need to fill a quota. The American people don't have that kind of money or power.
Spot on.
We're not trying to fill quotas. We're trying to live our lives and go to work and see our family.
Exactly.
But these people that have the amount of money, I'm not saying that he has money in Pfizer, but it wouldn't shock me.
I love this, Johnny. I'm just reading this right now. It's like Schwarzenegger writing, well, I told them, screw your freedom. That's such a great line from this
our founding fathers would have loved that.
From this fool. You have the freedom to wear no mask. But if you exercise that freedom, you're a schmuck. And why? Because you're supposed to protect your fellow Americans. You protect your fellow Americans that if you come down with the virus, you stay at home and you get better at home.
Yeah.
That's protecting your fellow Americans. You don't run around with the coronavirus and say, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw a mask on. Because the mask will do next to nothing.
Well, that's what Fauci said the mask would do. It would stop like a droplet or two. A little Fauci at you.
Yeah.
Right? Right? He even said the mask didn't work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It
didn't work. And then it did. And then it did. And then it did. Yeah.
I love this. He's back and forth on this. Schwarzenegger, I'll admit, calling people schmucks and saying screw your freedom was a little much. Even if I stand by the sentiment. But there is nothing I'm more passionate about than keeping America great.
Yeah. Yeah. You're married to a Kennedy.
But a bum.
You're married to a Kennedy. Your dad was a Nazi.
Oh, jeez. I mean, this is, kind of came to mind what we were talking about last week too, Johnny, with that Washington Post piece.
Yeah. It's nobody's
3 and 1 will harden their opinion if you yell at them and say you have to do this.
And then Schwarzenegger, obviously he doesn't read.
On cue, here comes Schwarzenegger.
Later, he pops off in an interview, and this is just the opinion piece he wrote. Yeah. We didn't play the interview because nobody needs to hear his.
Yeah, it's a piece of trash.
His arrogance.
Yeah.
He came off holier than thou.
Oh yeah.
Better than you.
Mm-hmm.
That whole Biden thing.
Yeah.
Whispering in the microphone and go get vaccinated.
Go get vaccinated.
That pisses people off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're doing
it's none of their business.
They are doing
none.
what they accused Trump of,
Yep.
which Trump did. Trump was a fool.
Mm-hmm.
But they are literally, they were against it to get elected, and
Yep.
now they're doing it.
Yeah.
Because they think we're stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're gonna fill their quota.
And we're going to fill a quota.
Because that's what,
which is pathetic.
That's what they're doing.
But here's the thing, too, Johnny. Let's flip it on the flip side of this coin, and let's talk a little Dana White on this, because this is really, really cool. I think the reason why the UFC is... I'm not a big fan of the UFC.
And neither am I.
I've seen a couple of matches, and I don't get it, to be perfect. I don't understand it.
I don't mind. Here's the thing that I want, that I and someone could educate me a little bit better, because I do like fighting sports.
Yeah.
Like, totally, I do like them.
Yeah.
I've never been this with boxing either. Like, I only like, there's only 3 divisions I'll watch. I watch the women, because women can kick ass too.
Yep.
I watch the featherweights, and I watch the heavyweights.
There you go.
I don't get and maybe someone could, and maybe it's just me not understanding the fight game, because I'm pretty sure that 180-pound dude couldn't fight Brock Lesnar. I get that. I'm a 160-pound dude.
Yeah.
I definitely couldn't fight Brock Lesnar.
Exactly. They'd probably break you in half.
Fight at 180-pound dude. I might need someone smaller than me.
But don't be a shit. I mean, you've thrown hands before in the past. Don't worry about it. You know, you've done that in your roller hockey days. Come on.
So not to shit on all the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Senator Kennedy says exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I believe in love, but I also own a handgun. End of story. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover.
You're a lover, not a fighter. I got it. Yeah.
The fight.
Yeah.
Only if I have to.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. That's what it should
words
be. Exactly. But I mean, this thing with Dana White is really interesting. He's on Mediaite.com, and you know, he basically, again, we're not a big fan of Sean Hannity on this thing, but he tells Sean, I try to keep my sport out of politics.
The problem with Hannity is he's one of the only people that are willing to listen at this point to these guys. This is new money talking. This isn't old money. This is new money. This is different. This is with Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%. Yeah.
New money. So they're not hardened by the system.
No.
That's the one thing I'll give Hannity, is he's giving people opportunities to at least speak, because it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. This is a great quote from Dana White. I'm going to read this right from the article verbatim here. One of the things that I really tried to do through this whole thing is stay out of politics. When people tune in to watch sports, they don't want to hear that crap. They don't want to hear what your opinions are, or who you're voting for, or what you're doing. They want to get away from everything in their life, and they want to focus on, for 2, 3, 4 hours, however long the sport is, however long the sport is. Throughout this pandemic, whenever you turned on the UFC, we never talked about COVID. We never talked about politics.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's the escape that entertainment is.
Big time. Yeah. And especially in sports. Yeah.
You can give WWE some credit too.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really talk about it. As
AEW too. Yeah.
AEW also. Yeah. So wrestling did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
The major sports failed miserably.
Oh, miserably. Every single one of them.
Right into your living room.
Yeah.
But that's old money. That's what we're talking about. They brought it right in your living room. On the injured list, you have a COVID list. Whatever happened to the NHL where you just had a
upper and a lower body injury? Yeah, exactly.
Do we really need to do you don't target? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that I know had to have been negotiated into the Players Association, into the collective bargaining.
You know, the NFL Players Association and the Major League Baseball and the NBA, dude, they're just glad-handers.
And don't forget, we're watching Cole Beasley very, very closely.
Oh yeah. I'll talk about him eventually.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan.
We're a big-time fan of him on this podcast. Absolutely.
You gotta stand behind your convictions, and
no doubt.
he's one that does. He'll get his time. I can't wait for the NFL season. He's going to get that ass on the front. Oh my God, I can't.
Yeah.
That is going to be.
All it's going to take is one stupid question, and he's off.
Yep.
The powder caning is off, and you go, stand back and watch. But no, I mean, that's the whole thing, though.
He's going to make
the
it
idea.
practice.
I think your argument of old versus new money is exactly right, Johnny.
It's huge.
That's really where the rubber is meeting the road here, right at the end of the day.
And it needs to.
Yeah.
We need the old regime is getting old.
Yeah, it sure is.
I mean, look Obama's 60 and just giving people COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
what was it like?
My party? No, I didn't.
How many of it was like 200? No, it was 62. I think it was 62 people.
But there was like 900
Still,
people.
it's like 10%.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not a good look, but that's old money. That's literally old money.
That's old money. Yeah, exactly.
They're doing what they want to do because they can. And this is the same thing. This is the Newsoms, the Cuomo's. Cuomo's not a dude that came up like me and you. His dad was what? He's a mayor or a governor? I can't remember.
He was governor. He was governor.
Ex-governor?
Yep.
Okay,
Mario Cuomo was the governor of New York.
So when little nipple rings was coming up, when his dad was governor, he understood the lavish life of governorness.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And of course he took advantage of it.
Oh yeah. That whole family has flirted with the opportunity to go into the White House, but they're chicken and they don't. Then obviously
because
Andrew
there's too
won't
much
get
dirt
there.
behind them.
Who knows? It might be a resume booster. Who knows? It might be. With his sexual assaults. You never know. No kidding. Sarcasm. Sorry. But yeah, it's interesting with the sports. I applaud Dana White for standing up what he's doing.
Absolutely.
And really, all sports should do that because you're a form of entertainment. I mean, can you speak on social issues? Yeah, but outside of the white lines, man. Seriously, like
But what I'm saying is I have absolutely no issue with players that want to talk about social justice. That they can do that. What I don't want is the corporate machine to get behind it because it makes it look bad.
Yeah.
Because you have billions
they're
of
falling all
dollars.
over
You're gonna
themselves.
solve this in 3 minutes, but you're like, hey, look, I'm letting the players do this now.
Have you ever noticed that,
You did
Johnny?
that from the beginning.
Have you ever noticed that? Like, all of the corporations now are falling all over themselves with these social justice issues. And it's like, well, whoa.
How were you?
Yeah, where were you? But at the same
billions.
time, it's
You
kind of
could've
like,
already
dude.
stopped this.
Yeah, like,
This
you're
is
getting
not
involved in social issues. Not psychological. You know what I mean? Like, sociological issues here.
What's happening is it's making it psychological because now the
People are
the
doubting
media is
themselves.
going towards it. But we said it on the podcast a million times, like why you could. So we know that the owner of Coke knows the owner of Pepsi.
Yep.
That knows, the owner of Nike. That knows. So if these like 18, 19 people really wanted to change the world, what would it take? 11 phone calls?
Maybe. Conference call, Zoom call.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And part of it too is the fact that, I keep harping on this, but I mean, I'm going to continue to keep harping on this.
So you probably should keep harping on it.
It's all about personal responsibility and forming relationships.
Yes.
Really. Not having conversations, but forming relationships with people. That's where you go out and you get to know people outside
Because when you
of
form
something like this. This doesn't give you anything, really. You have to know somebody.
My biggest advice for what you're saying, not only do you form the relationship, that's when you, and I've spoke about this a couple times on the podcast, that's when you have the difficult conversation.
Exactly.
That's when you say the shit in your head
that's the iron sharpening iron. Yep.
Exactly. But when you don't, that's where they get away with murder.
Big time.
Because they can make a commercial that takes your friends away very quickly.
Very quickly.
Because they can get to them better than you.
So well stated. Yeah, and you're seeing that now. So, I mean, let's get that new money. Let's get that new money flowing in there. You know what I'm saying, Johnny? You know what I mean? It's kind of like we got to get that pumping.
Even Voight. John Voight.
John Voight.
He's got a good brain. He speaks out very much. It's not all the old money. I mean, don't turn on everybody that has old money.
Right.
Just look for the people that weren't
the
mega stars but made a ton of money, like Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
They might know something.
They might know
They
something.
might know something about what's going on right now.
Yeah. Zuby, another one.
Yeah, another one. Made
Another
a ton
one.
of money off the industry.
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, Johnny, topic 4, and this one was a little difficult. You know, I'm not going to. I mean, we're going to throw the article up here on screen, but or the
Read
headline
it.
at least.
Read it verbatim, but let's get into the puppies that
Yeah.
that matter.
Yeah.
Not that these puppies don't matter. It sucks. This is gain of function research. I'll just before you even read this. This is the same shit that we were talking about with coronavirus. This is simple basic science.
By the Riddler. Yeah.
This
No
is
question
gain of
about it.
function research.
OPINDIA.com. Dr. Fauci under fire for spending $400,000 for funding cruel experiments on dogs. University defends him.
Of course.
You know.
Of course.
And so you read the article. It's pretty barbaric. I mean, it's pretty much like. I mean, I don't even really want to read it. It's just really horrible to 28 beagles. They were all euthanized, basically, because the Riddler was basically funding this to take place.
Yes.
He's a scumbag. He's a loser. He's a Riddler. Don't trust anything he says. And yes, I'll say that on my podcast because I can say it. Thank you very much. Yes. Don't trust anything this guy says. He's a loser. And he riddles you to death. I mean, that's what he does. So anyway, moving on. The good news is on this side,
function research is what it is.
Like, yeah, exactly. It is what it is. Right.
It is. Google it. It's not fun.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, exactly. But here's some really good news involving dogs, Johnny, because this is just tremendous. On Italy's beaches, specifically trained dogs are working as daring lifeguards.
I love it.
I mean, in Italy, there's an elite squadron of 350 specially trained canines from the Italian School of Water rescue dogs.
That's awesome.
And so there's 300 of those units of this entire group, basically. And so they consist of one dog, one trainer. They're tasked with watching over approximately 30 of the country's biggest and busiest beaches along Italy. So you're thinking Mediterranean Sea, and they've got both either sides of the country there. Mm-hmm. Thanks to their willingness to perform strength and fearless exploits, including leaping from helicopters. Can you believe this? Into the surf below.
It's like the real life Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
I've been looking for this my whole life.
Yeah. Into the surf below to rescue at-risk swimmers. This group estimates that their doggy guards are saving an average of 20 to 30 lives annually, and that number continues to climb every year. Earlier this month, when several families, including 8 children, were imperiled by strong wind and wave conditions while 330 feet from shore, 3 canine can you imagine? 3 dog lifeguards and their trainers rushed in to save them.
Awesome.
I mean, that's tremendous. They were basically, with the help of their human companions, dogs Eros, Maya, and Mira pulled everyone to safety. Now get this, Johnny, in about 15 minutes.
That's better than most people.
That's awesome, isn't it? Let's talk about that real quick. I mean, that's just...
It's a real life Paw Patrol.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I can't believe it. They dove in from, some of these dive in off of helicopters. I mean, I can't even imagine that.
Love it.
They got it like probably so low to the ground, and then they're able to whoop right in there. I mean, that's tremendous. That's just an amazing story.
I love that we could find good.
Yeah.
Against all this evil.
And speaking of good, we're going to go on to here to a little bit of a topic 5, which is a kind of a segue into our happy segment ultimately.
Yes, this is a bunch of video that you guys are going to barely see us for a while. But this is needed. This is a great story.
But this is a great story. I'm going to give all credit to my mother, who posted this on her Facebook page through a mutual friend. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this courtesy of Neil Ford, F-O-A-R-D. So I'm going to go ahead.
This is a great story.
It's a tremendous story. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and play it right about now.
As a country now than we've been in a long time. I know it can seem that way, but when I was a little kid in 1969, The Vietnam War was tearing the country apart. And they'd shot John F. Kennedy, and they'd shot Bobby Kennedy. They'd shot Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And there was the Manson family and the Zodiac killer, and it just felt like the whole country had lost its mind. My father, who'd grown up in the Depression, well, his faith in humanity was just at a low ebb. And the two of us that June were driving from L.A. to Oakland in an old 1960 Oldsmobile, and the water pump blew out south of Bakersfield. And so this was long before cell phones, so we were going to have to hoof it like 9 or 10 miles into town when this young cowboy pulls up in a flatbed and offers to tow us in. And all my dad had on him for money was this old Chevron gas card, so he kept telling this young fella, I can't pay you. And the young cowboy's looking at him like, yeah, I wasn't going to charge you. So he rolls us into town, and this is a Sunday, so nothing's open. So he has to go get his mechanic friend to open up his garage, and my dad says, hey, listen, I don't have any money. And the mechanic says, we'll work something out. And then they all realize they don't have the actual parts, so now they got to go roust out the local auto parts store owner, and they bring him down. And my father's like, okay, we need to talk about how this is all going to get settled, because he just couldn't imagine anybody being this trusting about the money. So the cowboy says, look, if it make you feel better, I got a bunch of watermelons I need to get loaded onto my flatbed, and it's pretty hot work, and if you help me out, I'll pay for the part. So next thing you know, we're all unloading watermelons from inside a rail car. That's about 140 degrees. And 90 minutes later, we are soaked in sweat. And up rolls the car, just running like a top. And my dad says, I really don't know how to thank you, fellas, and for this good turn. And we're turning to go, and the mechanic gets this look on his face and says, whoa, where do you think you're going? And you could see on my father's face just all the fear and distrust come to the surface. And he stiffened like a leopard. And the mechanic says, no. My wife's going to make us all Sunday dinner, and you and the boy can get a shower and a clean shirt, and it'll make the drive easier for all of us. So we sat down for the dinner of fried chicken from the chicken right over there, and corn on the cob from the corn right over there. Man, I got to tell you, we'll never have a meal that good ever again. And my dad didn't say maybe 3 words the whole drive, but when we got home, I got into bed, and I was just about to turn off the light, and he stops in the doorway, and he says to me, no matter what you see in the movies or on TV or you read in the papers, you listen to me. That's how people really are. And about a month later, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. So, keep the faith.
What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah.
Pretty solid, right?
We need to get back to that.
Yeah.
We need to get back to that trusting over human beings. Humanity.
Yeah. I mean, we
need to get back to that. We're getting back to that.
We are.
Let me not say it like I don't believe it.
I think so too. I think there is a groundswell that's building. A lot of people, it's funny.
It's huge.
It really is. I think there is still a lot of fight in the American spirit.
I agree.
And a lot of people in there are really tired of all of this political posturing on both sides of the aisle. Mm-hmm. And I think they're taking a hard and fast look at, maybe it could be voting patterns, but how are we treating each other ultimately? Yeah. You still have the dust-ups here and there, the school board meetings that don't go right. Yeah, but it's like stories like that kind of just like go like, okay, that's really encouraging to know that there was somebody else that was out there on a Sunday doing all these things and saying like, we're going to get your car fixed. Don't worry about it. It's like, I don't know. That's grace right there. That's just unmerited favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just tremendous. Well, why don't we end on a real high note?
Yes. This is awesome.
Great happy segment to kind of just put us in a really even better mood. And this is amazing. There's a team out in Western Michigan, which is a minor league affiliation of the Detroit Tigers. And there was a 96... Yeah, exactly. 96-year-old World War II veteran that did this. And if this doesn't play, I'm going to freak out.
Not on camera, though.
Exactly. I'm not going to do that on camera. Maybe if I can... There we go.
There we go.
Boys and girls, please remain standing. We ask everyone to remove your caps and join 96-year-old World War II veteran John Pileman as he leads us in honoring the United States of America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in the air, gave a proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
96 years young.
Oh yeah.
And that was like far better than any national anthem performer outside of Whitney Houston.
No, absolutely not. Some of the schmucks that have been doing it recently.
Exactly. Something about that generation, Johnny. It's like, you know, we keep finding all these wonderful people, and it's like, man, alive.
They're gonna be gone soon. We need to get them on.
I know. But they're wonderful people. All of them are. And it's like they love their country. They love it.
They saved us the first time. Now we got to save us the second time.
Exactly. Maybe we are the greatest generation. We just have to own it. Yeah. You know what I mean? We just got to get out there and own it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're seeing it for what it is, and we're doing good.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it up. Speaking of keep it up, John, we've hit it. The end of the episode. End of episode 46 of Two Noobs Talking. Woohoo! It's great and an honor to do this with you, brother.
Thank you for wanting to do it.
Absolutely. Let's throw the shameless plugs at our peeps. Where can people find us, brother?
We are on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter and Clapper. Twitter, not Twitter. I'm sorry. Yeah, we messed that one up. TikTok.
Yeah.
We get 3-minute videos on TikTok. No, Twitter, we're not. We're on Twitter, but we're not on Twitter.
We're not following it. Yeah.
But we try to put videos out. We haven't been doing it recently, but we're going to get back to it.
Oh, no
videos
doubt.
Out to lead us to our main channel.
Yep, YouTube. You can find us there, Two Noobs Talking Podcast, of course, and we have our entire library there, all 46 episodes. Yes, I said 46. But yeah, we would really love you if you like, share, and subscribe. Helps us drive up our YouTube metrics, as they say, but also gets the word out even faster, we really hope that continues to take place. And of course, though, we also have our wonderful audio listeners that seems to be broadening all over the place in the country, right, Johnny?
Yeah, having fun with that. We're hosted by Podbean, which brings us to Apple, Google Chrome, Google Podcast, and iHeartRadio.
There you go. And of course, like on our show notes right here, you can find them TwoNoobsTalking.wordpress.com. Of course, if you enter in your email address while you're there, the show notes show up in your inbox the very next day. Links to all of our articles, and of course, the videos that we shared will be all right there in front of you. Johnny, 46 is in the can, brother. And do you have anything final to say tonight?
On to 47.
On to 47. Rock and roll, brother. Talk to you all next week. Take care.
This country was founded by geniuses, but it's being run by a bunch of idiots. Why do the members of the United States Senate continue to double down on stupid?